I am Narayanan from IIT Bombay. We are working on a project on sugarcane water demand management in Barwani district in Madhya Pradesh. Water has become one of the most contested resources in the world and in India. It's not only because of the limited supply of water or the constant supply of water, it's basically because of the increasing demands that are coming into the water sector. And these demands are basically different types of water uses, like the primary use is water for drinking, or we call it domestic water, and then there is water for irrigation, and then we need water for production, that is like big industrial activities and for urban uses. So these are the kind of 3-4 major subsectors within the water sector. And there are contestations between these sectors and within these sectors. Like for example, there is a big plea to kind of take out water from rural areas to urban areas, from rural areas to kind of industries. So all these actually breed increasing conflicts. Within irrigation, that's also not a uniform use within irrigation sector itself. There are different crop water requirements for different crops. Like a crop like sugarcane is a highly water intensive crop, and already irrigation subsector uses 70 to 80% of water globally and in India, depending on where you are. And one of the major kind of water gushing crops is sugarcane. So if we need to kind of think about any kind of water demand management, I think it's very sensible first to think about irrigation and then to think about more water using crops. So sugarcane becomes a good candidate to kind of enter into the debate on water demand management. So in this project, we are trying to look at the possibilities of water demand management in sugarcane in one watershed in Barwani district in Madhya Pradesh. There are two components for this project. First is to develop a generic water balance model for the whole of the watershed. This is to understand the available water in the watershed. The second part is a socio-economic understanding of the different agronomic practices and the inputs that go into each of these agronomic practices, in which water is one component. So we will be looking at different practices like organic farming or mulching, or kind of practices that use technology like drip irrigation. So we will then look at what is the kind of optimum input use in each of these, looking at the cost, and at the end we will develop a cost curve, which will then ultimately we will be developing a decision support system to understand the optimum input use in this. Water will be the key variable, and we really want to understand whether there are possibilities for demand management of irrigation of sugarcane. And we will be concentrating on kind of understanding or generating evidence to advise better policy in water demand management.